welcome back to our channel. Only one in a million has it. This rare dime is hiding in plain sight. Like and subscribe for the full list. In 1981, the Roosevelt dime had already seen more than 3 decades of steady circulation. Since its introduction in 1946, the coin had become a quiet staple of everyday American life, its compact form rarely scrutinized as it passed from palm to palm, pocket to jar. The design remained unchanged, Franklin D. Roosevelt's familiar profile on the obverse, with a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse. It was a coin not meant to surprise. But somewhere amid the millions minted that year, something unexpected occurred. Something so subtle it went unnoticed for a time, yet would ultimately redefine the value of an otherwise ordinary coin. Production of the 1981 dimes occurred at 3 U.S. mint facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint handled proof coinage, those special mirror-like strikes intended solely for collectors. These coins, struck multiple times under careful conditions, were not supposed to end up in circulation. They were never meant to mingle with the spare change in a diner's tip jar or the coins dropped into a payphone. Yet, that's where one was found. It began in the spring of 1995 when a coin collector in Illinois came across an unusual Roosevelt dime while sorting through an inherited box of loose change. The coin stood out, not because of wear or damage, but because it didn't wear the typical dullness of circulated currency. Its fields gleamed with an unnatural brightness. Roosevelt's profile stood in frosted contrast to the dark, mirrored background. And yet, there was no S mint mark. The place where San Francisco's proof mark should have been was simply blank. The collector, unsure of what he held, placed the coin aside. Days turned into weeks before curiosity won over hesitation. He brought the dime to a local coin shop, where an older dealer examined it in silence. He flipped the coin with tweezers, examined the edge, then reached for a magnifying loupe. Finally, he leaned back and exhaled slowly. "This isn't from a pocket," he said. "This looks proof." They submitted the coin to a top-tier grading service. The process was agonizingly slow. But when the results arrived, they confirmed what the dealer suspected. It was a 1981 proof Roosevelt dime, struck at the San Francisco Mint, but missing the S mint mark. It was authentic. And it was extraordinarily rare. The news rippled through the numismatic world. By the late 1990s, collectors were already familiar with the notorious 1970s and early 1980s proof errors, the No.S. Lincoln cent in 1971 and the No.S. Jefferson nickel in 1979 among them. These were minting mistakes that escaped detection during production, creating legendary rarities. The 1981 Roosevelt dime now joined that elite club. How such an error occurred remains a point of fascination. Each proof coin die is carefully prepared and marked with its respective mint symbol. The S is a crucial identifier for San Francisco-issued proofs. The absence of the mint mark implies that the die was either never engraved with it or that a smooth, unmarked die meant for internal testing was mistakenly used in a production run. What makes the 1981 no-mint mark dime even more mysterious is the fact that the mint was already under scrutiny from past high-profile mistakes. After the earlier No.S. errors had shaken confidence, more rigorous checks were implemented. So how, under tighter oversight, did another escape? In the years that followed, only a handful of similar dimes were discovered. Some were found in sealed 1981 proof sets, suggesting that the error wasn't the result of a circulation mishap but rather an unnoticed blunder that left the mint before it could be corrected. The known population remains astonishingly small. Unlike the millions of regular 1981 dimes, these few are unicorns, identical in design, yet born of error and rarity. The market responded accordingly. Early transactions were quiet. A few changed hands through private collectors for sums in the low 5 figures. But by the mid-2000s, auction houses took interest. One specimen, nearly flawless and graded PR69 deep cameo, went to auction in 2008 and stunned attendees with a final hammer price exceeding $60,000. Publicity from that sale reignited the search. Collectors revisited unopened proof sets, others re-examined previously dismissed coins under higher magnification. Rumors swirled of more examples held in private vaults, their owners waiting for the right moment to sell. Each time one surfaced, bidding wars erupted. By 2015, verified examples in top condition were commanding more than $90,000. But the most unexpected twist arrived in 2020 when a previously unreported example came to light from an unlikely place. A retired banker in Florida, unaware of coin collecting intricacies, brought his set to an estate appraiser. One coin caught the appraiser's eye, the 1981 dime. It had the unmistakable polish of a proof, with frosted relief and shimmering fields, but again, no S. The coin, once authenticated and graded, stunned the collector world with its perfect preservation. What followed was a flurry of bidding, as advanced collectors and institutions vied for ownership. It sold for a record-setting $128,000. The sale not only reaffirmed the coin's elite status but pushed its upper market potential into new territory. Numismatists continue to debate how many such coins exist. Some say fewer than 250. Others insist that number is overly generous. What's certain is that the 1981 no-mint mark Roosevelt proof dime stands as a testament to how even a modern coin, one mass-produced in the age of tight minting controls, can hold mystery, drama, and value. Today, the 1981 no-mint mark proof dime is considered a trophy coin, a shining example of how an overlooked error, born of a missing mint mark, can evolve into a centerpiece of a world-class collection. Depending on its condition and grade, this dime now commands a market value ranging between $48,000 and $132,000, a transformation that few could have predicted when it first slipped unnoticed into the hands of a collector 3 decades ago. In 1999, as the final year of the 20th century unfolded, the United States Mint found itself in the midst of ambitious production efforts. The launch of the 50-state quarters program was just months away, and public excitement was steadily building. Yet in the quiet shadow of that historic coinage initiative, dimes continued to be struck without fanfare, their design unchanged and their function utilitarian. Roosevelt's enduring profile remained on the obverse, the torch, oak, and olive branches stood resolute on the reverse. Everything seemed routine. But within that year's output, a particular batch of dimes would begin an unforeseen journey, one that transformed a mere 10-cent coin into a collector's prize of extraordinary intrigue. It all began rather humbly, tucked inside a plastic bag of coins at a flea market in Pennsylvania in the summer of 2006. A local hobbyist who dabbled in coin roll hunting picked up the small stash for a few dollars, more interested in wheat pennies and silver than dimes. But back at home, as he sifted through the mix with a magnifying glass, one coin drew his attention. It bore the 1999 date. Roosevelt's portrait was crisp, and the coin showed little wear. But something about it didn't sit right. The edges were unusually sharp. The fields reflected light in a polished gleam. And the most unusual part? The mint mark area next to Roosevelt's neck, where he expected to see a P or a D, was completely smooth. There was no mint mark at all. Puzzled, the collector set it aside. He had seen mint mark errors before, mostly on older coins, but rarely on something this modern. A few weeks later, at a regional coin show, he presented the dime to a dealer with over 4 decades of experience. The dealer raised his brows the moment the coin landed under the scope. Proof-like surfaces, full strike, sharp edges, and no sign of tampering or polishing. He suggested immediate certification. The coin was submitted to a reputable grading service. The results would confirm the hunch. It was a 1999 Roosevelt dime struck as a proof, missing the S mint mark entirely. The lack of an S was not due to abrasion or error outside the mint. It was an authentic minting error, one so rare, even seasoned professionals paused at the implications. The San Francisco Mint, tasked with producing proof coins for collectors, was known for its tight quality control. Its proof coins were never intended for general circulation and always bore the S mint mark. The discovery of a no-mint mark proof from this year raised serious questions. How had it passed inspections? How many others like it could exist? And had it even left the mint intentionally? As more collectors became aware of the discovery, a subtle frenzy stirred. Another 1999 no-mint mark proof dime emerged in California, found inside an original government-issued proof set still sealed in plastic. That second discovery confirmed the first was no fluke. Somehow, a small number of proof dies missing the S mint mark had been used that year. Whether they were test dies, incorrectly prepared dies, or simply part of a brief lapse in oversight, no one knew for sure. But one thing was clear: these dimes were a modern mystery. The numismatic community took notice. Articles were penned. Forums buzzed with speculation. Some believed that only a dozen or so such dimes existed. Others suspected the mint had quietly caught the error and halted production before more could escape. But without official confirmation, the story remained open-ended, fueling the intrigue. In 2011, one of the early finds appeared at a national auction. Graded PR68 Deep Cameo, the coin featured pristine surfaces, reflective fields, and a powerful strike. The bidding was aggressive, and the coin sold for just under $42,000, stunning even the auctioneer. Just 2 years later, another surfaced, this time graded PR69. That one sold for more than $61,000, suggesting the value curve was climbing sharply. Collectors began to view the 1999 no-mint mark proof dime as more than a novelty. It was becoming a key piece in any serious modern-era collection. Its appeal was undeniable: a late-century coin, struck in an era of supposed perfection, that had somehow emerged bearing the kind of flaw more common in mid-century production. But the most surprising revelation didn't come until 2018, when a Virginia-based collector noticed something else on one of the verified era dimes. Along the lower edge of the reverse, the torch base showed a subtle but undeniable doubling. The "one dime" inscription appeared slightly ghosted beneath itself. The coin was examined by specialists, and the verdict was conclusive: double die reverse, on a 1999 no-mint mark proof dime. It was the only known example with such a combination, and its existence brought a whole new dimension of value and rarity to the error class. By 2020, as demand for rare modern errors surged, these dimes became increasingly difficult to acquire. Collectors held onto them tightly, and even those with moderate wear were commanding prices many times their face value. At coin shows, whispers of private sales circulated, with prices rumored to cross six figures. Each verified specimen reinforced the same conclusion: these dimes were genuine anomalies. Not mass-produced. Not common oversights. But pieces of a rare story in which precision failed in the most unexpected way. Today, the 1999 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark stands as one of the most captivating errors of its decade. It represents a bridge between an era of rigid control and the inherent fallibility of any human system. The fact that such a small oversight could escape the safeguards of the modern mint only adds to the allure. Depending on its grade, clarity, and verification, the 1999 no-mint mark proof Roosevelt dime holds a current market value ranging from $40,000 to $120,000. A quiet testament to the idea that in the most familiar corners of our currency, there can still be mystery, discovery, and extraordinary worth. In 2014, the United States Mint continued its standard coinage production without public drama or remarkable deviation. The Roosevelt dime, still bearing the design first introduced in 1946, rolled off the presses by the millions. With Franklin D. Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and the iconic torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, the coin was expected to be routine, predictable, and unremarkable. It was a piece of everyday currency, meant for pockets and vending machines, not for display cases or glass vaults. Yet, tucked within that year's massive output, a curious error managed to slip through the mint's rigorous protocols, setting the stage for a collector's discovery that would ripple across the numismatic world. The earliest whisper of the anomaly surfaced in the fall of 2017 at a coin shop in rural Michigan. A middle-aged man brought in a modest collection inherited from his father. Among the wheat cents and worn quarters was a 2014 dime that immediately caught the dealer's attention, not for its condition, but for what was missing. It had an unmistakably proof-like shine. The surfaces mirrored light with uncanny precision, while Roosevelt's image appeared frosted and well-defined. But when the dealer examined the area just above the date, something didn't add up. There was no mint mark. No P for Philadelphia, no D for Denver, and certainly no S for San Francisco. Perplexed, the dealer asked if the coin had come from a set or circulation. The man shrugged, unaware. The dime had simply been there, part of a handful of coins set aside in a drawer decades ago. The dealer, experienced enough to know the difference between a polished coin and a genuine proof error, advised sending it for certification. When the grading results returned, they confirmed the suspicion. It was a genuine 2014 Roosevelt proof dime struck without the S mint mark. A proof coin, meant for collectors, never intended for circulation, that had inexplicably escaped the mint's strict controls. The absence of the mint mark wasn't due to wear or damage, it was an authentic minting mistake. And not just any mistake, but a modern no-mint mark proof dime, a category reserved for only a select few anomalies in U.S. coinage history. Proof coins are minted in San Francisco under controlled conditions. Each die is carefully crafted, and each strike is meticulously monitored. The presence of the S mint mark is as fundamental as the design itself. For such a coin to be produced without the mint mark, and then packaged, shipped, and released, suggests a rare failure in quality control at a time when the mint's technology and procedures were supposedly infallible. Word of the find began to spread. At first, it remained quiet, passed among dealers and collectors in hushed tones. But then another surfaced. This time, the coin emerged from an unopened 2014 proof set purchased from an estate sale in Nevada. That sealed set was meant to contain 5 coins, all struck to perfection, each with the S mint mark proudly displayed. But the dime inside bore none. As experts compared the 2 coins, they confirmed identical traits: deeply mirrored fields, frosted devices, strong strike quality, and the same notable absence of a mint mark. These weren't circulation coins. They were proof errors. And the implications were huge. The numismatic community reacted with a blend of excitement and caution. Modern proof errors are exceptionally rare. After the high-profile no-S errors in the 1970s and early 1980s, the U.S. Mint implemented strict checks to prevent future oversights. That any made it through in 2014 was both baffling and thrilling. Each new verified example added to the coin's legend, yet the overall number remained extremely low. Some speculated fewer than 20 could exist, all possibly buried in unopened proof sets or mistakenly spent as regular currency. By 2019, the error had fully entered the spotlight. One of the earliest finds, graded PR69 Deep Cameo, was auctioned by a prominent firm. The hammer price stunned onlookers, over $68,000. Another example followed in 2021, slightly lower in grade, and still crossed the $50,000 mark with ease. Collectors began actively hunting for unopened 2014 proof sets. Online marketplaces saw a surge in demand for mint-sealed products. A few lucky individuals discovered what others had overlooked: error dimes hidden in plain sight. But the finds were few and far between, and no official record existed of how many had slipped through. In a twist no one expected, a third example turned up not in a collector's hands, but in a small-town charity donation jar. The coin had likely been spent by someone unaware of its significance. It was scooped up by a volunteer who, noticing its luster, set it aside. That decision would prove life-changing when, after proper authentication, the coin sold privately for a sum rumored to exceed $85,000. As more eyes turned to this peculiar coin, something else came to light: a faint doubling visible under magnification on one of the earlier discovered pieces. The word dime on the reverse appeared with a subtle shadow, and Roosevelt's profile showed an almost imperceptible doubling around the ear and neck. Analysts concluded it was a form of machine doubling rather than a true double die, but the added detail only intensified interest in the coin's anomalies. The 2014 no-mint mark proof dime's rise in value wasn't just due to scarcity. It was the combination of modern minting standards, historical rarity, and the mystery of how such an error could still occur. The contrast between the coin's technical precision and its unmistakable flaw created an irresistible paradox: perfection marred in the most intriguing way. By 2023, demand for high-grade examples peaked. Collectors who had once dismissed modern dimes as common re-examined their holdings. Auction houses reported record attendance for lots involving modern errors. The coin had achieved something unexpected: it had become legendary, not because it was ancient or covered in patina, but because it wasn't supposed to exist at all, the 2014 Roosevelt dime, stripped of its mint mark and steeped in mystery, remains a testament to the unpredictable nature of numismatics. Whether found in sealed government packaging or tossed into circulation by mistake, its allure is undeniable. Depending on grade, preservation, and cameo contrast, the 2014 no-mint mark-proof Roosevelt dime currently commands a market value ranging from $32,000 to $92,000. A quiet coin with a loud story, it continues to captivate collectors with its elegant error and improbable journey.